Hi, and welcome to Timberdoodle's 2026 Pre-K Curriculum video. I'm Hope, I'm here with my sister Grace, and we're going to walk you through what's included this year in the Pre-K Curriculum Kit. Let's start with language arts. So first off, we've got the 180 Days of Phonics Workbook, and this is an easy 1 page a day, no prep, no pressure. But what we love about it is not only are you working on building the letter recognition, you're also working on the sound awareness and those early reading skills, the early beginning sounding it out skill. And it's all appropriately paced. So you've heard us say this before, you're going to hear us say it again. We love it when the workbooks are skill-based in a way that's attainable and not jumping around to skills that your student doesn't have already. This is systematic, and it does a phenomenal job of teaching bit by bit and introducing a letter, introducing a sound, and having the student look for it, and then working on building those skills of how do you actually sound out a word. So a really great workbook, but it's colorful, it's fun, and they're going to want to be doing it. So basically, when you look at your week, day 1, your child's going to be meeting the sound of the week. Days 2 and 3, they're going to become kind of a sound detective of sorts. So they're going to be finding the sound at the beginning, the middle, and the end of the words. Day 4, they're going to work on blending the sounds together. And day 5, practicing some beginning words, segmenting the sounds or the syllables. So you'll read mad and then mad, and the student will repeat after you. Which also coincides a lot with All About Reading pre-reading, and we really like that it works well together with All About Reading pre-reading. So All About Reading pre-reading is a gentle, engaging reading program. It's going to build the 5 must-have pre-reading skills: print awareness, how books work, phonological awareness, playing with the sounds of the syllables, letter knowledge, uppercase and lowercase, and then listening comprehension, understanding read alouds, and motivation to read. So it's taught through silly stories, it's got beautiful readers, it's got fun games, and all the kids love the puppet, which really just brings the activities alive. So they're going to be able to work on memorizing and learning these different letters and letter sounds with the fun of the puppet. It also has worksheets so that every day you can be doing an activity sheet with the student to help them, again, retain that learning. Often it'll be like a little craft, like sprinkle the sand on top of this letter, or glue the little paper scraps on it, or whatever it is, some simple suggestion for how to either color the letter or how to make your own letter examples. So very open and go, but you can take it further if you want to. So if you want to do extra crafts with it, that's an option. It gives you the instructions for that. Otherwise, you can just do it as a coloring sheet and use the program. We also include some other manipulatives that you're going to see work really well into it to reinforce these letters. So if you are not a person who wants to pull out all your crafting supplies, that's okay. Don't worry about that, because we've got a couple other products that are going to fit and fill that need really well here. Okay, next we include the WikkiStix alphabet. This is a great way for your child to practice, again, letter awareness, remembering what the letters look like, how to form them, without just the drudgery of doing it with a pen on paper or coloring it again. So what we love about this is you get the hands on, it's not messy, they are slightly tacky or sticky without causing any mess. Your child will be able to put them on the outline of the cards, practice recognizing their letters. And why we chose it is really because of the zero cleanup, zero frustration factor. That's always a big win in our book. And then it pairs so beautifully with All About Reading. So whatever letter you're working on, you can pull out that card and have them work on building it, because it takes some practice for them to get that letter recognition, that visual perception, and this is really going to reinforce that without a lot of stress. Okay, next up we have handwriting practice. So at this age you can start very slow. But what we like about this book is that it has big letters, big spaces, has a lot of tracing before it has them independently writing, and again, doesn't jump around with different skills. So it doesn't start with the letter H and then all of a sudden have them writing the word horse. No, it's got them practicing this whole page with really big letters, and you don't have to do the whole thing at once. So it's just a great way to begin building those writing skills. Yes. Okay, so why did we choose this one? Like Grace said, simple, straightforward pages. There's no sudden leaps in expectation. Yep. The skills are progressive. Again, I love that it's not an overwhelming sheet. And again, looking through a number of handwriting books, it goes on all ends of the spectrum. This one seems to hit it best right there in the middle. Clean pages, easy expectations, gradual in its growth. You're going to do about 4 pages a week, would finish the book in a year, but that may be
too much for your child. At this age, we expect you to tailor it for what works best for your child.
Absolutely.
So if you want them to do one line of tracing and call it quits, they have practiced forming the right shape with their hands. They practice putting a pen on paper. They're gaining those fine motor skills, and we're very comfortable with that level of engagement too. Next, we have the GeoStix letter construction set. Now, this is kind of letter formation meets STEM kit all mixed in one.
Absolutely.
So you have 200 bendy, colorful sticks, and they snap together with these little tiny connectors. There are 10 different shapes that will help you make uppercase and lowercase, and also some freestyle designs that they include in there. There are 26 double-sided activity cards, so you have plenty of activities for your child to work on with this. Why did we pick this kit? Why specifically this one? Well, we are working on visual discrimination. We are working on fine motor skills. We are working on letter recognition and the ability to see the letter and to recreate it. It will all strengthen those brain pathways for your child in different ways than just saying, write it out again.
And it's fun. It makes a great break from all those workbook activities to say, okay, now you get to play with this set and build. And the other thing that we love about it is once they've mastered all their letters, again, it pairs really well with the All About Reading because you can do the letter that they're working on there. But once they've mastered all their letters, it has some really complex designs that you can keep using this for several years. Like it's not a set that's going to quickly wear out and you're done with it. Older kids are going to want to get in there and freestyle with it because it's a fun click together set.
We've had our set for years and years, and it's gone through a number of different children, through a number of different ages and stages, and it's held up really well.
Yeah.
All right, next way to hit your alphabet. We have alphabet bingo. Now, as you may have seen from watching our other videos, we always like to include a multiplayer game within our kits for multiple reasons. One is for especially at this age, the social emotional skills that your child will be building, learning how to lose and win well. Also just for that point of connection with your child. Now, at this age, you have lots of points of connection throughout the pre-K kit, but this just puts it in less of a structured setting and more of a laid-back learning with that fun aspect. So, Alphabet Bingo, why we like this set in particular, I like that it has both the alphabet and it has the object that represents the letter. I like that you can play with both levels of difficulty for your child, so you can call out you're looking for a grape or you're looking for G. Either one option is available for your child. I like that it has so many boards, so you can involve more than just a couple kids in that if you would like to. And again, the quality of the pieces is excellent.
We also find it's a great one if you have grandparents who live far away. This is a really easy game to play over Zoom, so you can have grandparents playing on one side and kids
send them half the pieces and keep half the pieces.
And so it's beautiful in that way.
Let's talk about the ABC See, Hear, and Do flashcards. Now, this is new to the kit this year, and I'm really excited about this because it seems that for most learners, maybe by doing the things that we've already talked about, you're great to go. But for some learners, that memory recall is just difficult for them to remember what letter is that and what sound does it make, especially for kids that are going to be struggling with dyslexia. This is a card set that I believe will really help cement that information in their head. So they are going to look at the card, they're going to see it, they're going to hear the sound, and then they're going to do the action so that, again, from pre-K, you can have this hands-on visual auditory experience to say, this is what the letter is, and here's its sound, so that when they go to hit reading programs that are more intense, they don't have to take the brain power to say, okay, what was that? Because it's going to be already cemented in there. So I'm really excited about this edition this year.
Yes, and again, a great one to pair up with that All About Reading pre-reading as you're working on the letter. Pull out the See, Hear, Do card that corresponds with that letter and be doing those actions so that way you're concreting this in their brain. And then toward the end of the year, you move to the CBC cards, which are going to start putting those sounds together and teaching them, here's how you sound out a word. It's really empowering because all of a sudden, wow, they're actually reading. Okay, next up we have what your preschooler needs to know. And we consider it language arts because it's a beautiful anthology with a lot of different pieces. This is going to be the literature component of your pre-K. But it also is going to include a number of different subjects like history, science, music, and whatnot. This is just a fun book to sit and read together. This was one of my son's favorite in preschool, and so it's always a favorite to go back and remember all the great stories. He always looked forward to that. And you've got fables, you've got a lot of different conversation starters. Again, just working on different things that are going to build vocabulary and awareness. I mean, history is such a new idea at this age to really start understanding all these different concepts and stories. And it's structured enough to feel like a curriculum, but it's easy to get through, and it's just a fun, you can do this for bedtime reading, you can do it as a break during the day. It's a really great book to work through.
I would say Grace is right. I think what sets it apart is it does kind of start to move from the gap, or move from the level of, you know, board books and picture books to all of a sudden it's opening your child's eyes to, wow, we've got longer fairy tales, we've got longer information about science and all of this, but it bridges the gap very gently, and so it feels fun and it feels not overwhelming.
Yep. Okay, let's take a look at math. So for math this year, you have Mathematical Reasoning Beginning 2, and this is a very thorough, complete math curriculum. It's going to cover all the essentials, the counting, adding, subtracting, and all that, shapes and patterns and whatnot. But what we love is how it does it. So as you'll see, it really does it with a lot of bright pictures, a lot of skill and critical thinking type questions. And what I like is that as you go to teach it with the kiddo, you're not sitting there and trying to get through 20 different math problems on a page. You build a feeling of success as they quickly point to the squares, as they quickly count the different corners with you, as they quickly cross off the tree that has no apples. It builds this feeling of success while also working on these underlying, how do you think to actually do math instead of just rote memorization.
Yeah. So it's going to be 2 to 3 days a week. You're going to do a couple pages a day. And again, we're not talking a couple double-sided pages. We're talking a couple sides.
Yep.
So if you're doing 8 pages a week, you're going to rip out 4 pages a week and do those. It's very reasonable, very manageable, but will scaffold your child along through the mathematical concepts. New for our kits this year, we include the Inchimals math game. Now, this one I'm really excited about including because it's all well and good to work through a workbook with your child and do mathematical concepts, and that is really good. That's why we include them. But some children especially, and frankly all children would benefit from needing the hands-on aspect, and that's what Inchimals does. So you have these adorable, newly updated animal pictures on the sides of these rods, and they all represent different numbers, and your child will get to hands-on say a bee plus a flower equals what, or a narwhal plus a giraffe equals what, or whatever the equation is, and then again translating that into numbers to say, okay, 1 plus 5, what does that equal? And they can see physically, okay, I've got the 1 block and the 5 block, and that physically equals the 6 block. Just a really pre-K friendly way to attack math and to get them seeing visually what they are working on mentally.
Next, we have the My First Sticker by Number cards, and this is one that we actually had custom made for Timberdoodle because we saw this need for kids to be able to recognize their numbers and this fun way of doing it with stickers. And so you're going to get 8 oversized cards and a whole pile of stickers to go with it to match the numbers that are on the cards to the numbers for the stickers and complete the picture. They're repositionable stickers, so that way there's not that frustration component, but it's really going to help them build their number recognition, which is really important for pre-K kids to start to understand what numbers are and to be able to recognize them as they're doing their math program. They need to know these numbers, and this is just a really fun way to cement that in without it being, you know, writing and everything that gets a little overdone at this age.
Other thing I love about this set is that typically with a sticker by number book product, you're going to have the activity section of the book and you're going to have the sticker section of the book, and you have 2 frustrating options, either flipping front to back, or you have the option of tearing out the sheet knowing that a lot of those stickers are going to be needed for the rest of the projects, and so then you lose the sheet and it goes throughout the house, and it's just very frustrating.
Yes.
So what I really appreciate is there is an activity sheet, there's a sticker sheet, they correspond. When you're done with that, your stickers are gone and you can move on to the next one, so you don't have that frustration of flipping or hunting.
Yes. Okay, the last component for math is Tiny Polka Dot. So this is 16 games in one deck. It's another great multiplayer game option, but the reason we include it in this kit is because it does such a good job of teaching number sense. So you've got a couple different ways that you can play. As As you can see in the video, they're playing where you're adding up to a certain number. So that's going to be a little bit more on the advanced side. You're going to start simple with matching dots, matching numbers, but you've got number cards, you've got dot cards, you've got grid cards, and so a number of different ways that kids are learning addition, subtraction, they're learning matching, they're learning correlations, and
more and less.
Yes.
Yeah.
Yep, you're going to play those, who's got more, and then they get to take the stack of cards. So some really great options that are teaching, but in a fun way.
Let's move to thinking skills. Now, thinking skills are one of the most important things to us here at Timberdoodle. And so let's start off with the Building Thinking Skills Beginning To book. This is a great way to start building those thinking skills in your child. Through this book, your child is going to work on critical thinking, observation, similar and different, sequencing, classification, spatial relation, analogies, patterns, and so much more.
So much.
And it's not just rote memorization, it's not laborious, but it is done through easy, colorful pages that gradually increase the level of thinking that your child will be able to do. So no mindless drills. If you've ever taught a young learner and had them guessing, you know the frustration of that. And what this book does is helps them to stop guessing and start thinking, actually reasoning through how could this be, or how can I figure this out? So again, about 8 pages a week, tear out 4 pages, you're golden. It's not going to be a huge chore to get through. It's basically working on puzzles on paper with your child.
Yep.
Why do you think that was the answer? And what do you think is the same between these two, or what do you think is missing, or whatever it is, working through it with your child, a great way to build those critical thinking skills.
Next, we have the Pre-K skill building set. So this is a phenomenal 2-book set. We love all the stickers and the activities that the kids just really want to get in. They want to keep doing it. But all the while, you're working on instruction following, you're working on thinking skills, you're working on fine motor skills, you're doing shapes and numbers and motor skills all at the same time, spatial awareness, but slowly and gradually, very skill appropriately for them. So when it has them putting the stickers on the page, it's going to start off with really easy assignments like put the cars on the road, but it builds in complexity as it goes and has them doing more and more controlled sticker
placement.
Yeah, and so we really appreciate that it's going to be engaging, it's going to be exciting. They're going to feel like, hey, I did it. While gradually ramping up the skill level.
And different topics too. So, you know, make the cookies match on all the plates, or put the little animal in the grass, or whatever it is. So a variety of topics, which keeps it engaging.
Yes.
Okay. Pre-K is a lot of fun and a lot of hands-on. So we include thinking skills through a number of different types of sets and books and formats. Yes. So for your first single-player critical thinking game, we have 3 Little Piggies. I love this one because it works on spatial reasoning and it works on executive functioning, to say, if I put this piece here, how can I fit these pieces here? And to try to do that at a pre-K level is amazing, that these people are able to figure out how to create a game that works at the preschool or pre-K level while staying engaging and actually complex. So we've had grown-ups struggle to put this puzzle together, while the pre-K actually figure it out, because again, they're working just from the beginning with no preconceptions.
Next, we have the 3 Little Pigs cooperative game. So I love this game because it does 2 things. You can play it as a cooperative game, but when your child is ready, when they start understanding all the gameplay and they're ready to learn the social skill of winning and losing graciously, you can turn it into a competitive game. There's instructions for both. It's a no-nonsense, very easy to play game. You set up your board, roll the die, and you're trying to get the 3 little pigs into safety, while in the meantime, anytime that you land on the black color, the wolf is moving closer and closer. So a lot of suspense, a lot of fun. You can do this with as young as 2-year-olds and start building that skill of gameplay.
All right, next in thinking skills, we have the bambinoLUK IQ set. Now, again, this has done a phenomenal job at taking critical thinking and turning it into a hands-on format. So you're not belaboring the bookwork. So you're going to get a controller with 6 pieces and then all the booklets that go along with it. You're going to be matching the controller pieces to whatever the corresponding concept is. So maybe it'll be matching shape to shape, or maybe it'll be looking for trying to visual discriminate between the picture that's on top, where is it on bottom, or here's part of the picture on top, where is it on bottom. number of different topics, a wide variety of different topics that they're covering, all able to be done through this fun, puzzling, hands-on aspect, which is really hard to find.
Our second single player game is Camelot Jr. And this is one of my favorites because it's made out of beautiful wooden pieces. It feels great, it's fun to manipulate, and it's got a great range of skill. So there's 48 different puzzles. The knight is not allowed to climb or jump. So he has to build a bridge or a walkway to rescue the princess. So a really fun story-based logic puzzle that is always so engaging at this age to have that, oh, she needs help and can you get him to her?
Again, it's building that flexible thinking,
yeah,
while also strengthening the spatial planning. So that's phenomenal because it's one thing to plan it out, but then you have to be so flexible to say, well, if he can't leap and he can't jump, then I'm going to have to look at other options.
Yeah, and it'll tell you, here's your 2 pieces that you can use to get him over to her or get her over to him, but you're not allowed to use any other pieces. And so they really have to do some trial and error, build some frustration tolerance, build some try again, and learn how to do that visual planning.
All right, last in thinking skills, we have the Gakken Big Preschool Workbook. Now, we've gone through a number of workbooks looking for what will work best for your child. And as we've said before, there is, to us, a frustration when the book jumps around too much. I feel like Gakken does a pretty good job in this one, keeping it to be sequential and to be gently progressing in the difficulty levels throughout. You're going to be working largely on building hand control with lines, curves, and simple marks before they're actually writing. This is the book that I feel will take them from the toddler, preschool, scribble phase into the actual pre-K, preparing them for kindergarten when they're going to be learning to write their name and write their letters. This is going to be the book that's going to step them up to the next level. So each page moves it forward in a step-by-step progression. Not overwhelming. Great way
Lots
to get
of variety.
Great way to get those skills building in your child.
Okay, let's take a look at social studies. So the first book we have is Lifesavers, and this is really a sit on my lap and read about social studies together kind of a book. It's a vibrant book. It's introducing real life community heroes, and it's got a really fun format of a day in the life of, and then all these different heroes from the community. So don't be surprised when your child is all of a sudden dressing up as a firefighter or wants to be a rescue worker because they've talked about and read about this incredible different career path in this book.
And knowing about all these different things helps build the empathy and also helps spark the curiosity. And that's what you want in your pre-K child. You want them to be able to be curious about the world around them and then empathetic because they've gotten a glimpse inside what that looks like and what that means.
And it also helps for them, for some kids who struggle with anxiety, to have already talked through some of these situations, these different workers, so that when they see them in real life, they already have some knowledge in it and it's not as scary.
Yep.
New this year is How We Use Money. So I'm really excited to add this because it's such a phenomenally done book where it gives kids all the way as young as pre-K a beginning grasp on what money is and how it's used, how it's earned, how it's spent, and how to save it, how to share it. So a number of different scenes. And what's really fun is pre-K loves using stickers. And so this is all sticker based. They are going to get to pick their favorite toys and put those in their shopping cart until they've spent their $10 or whatever the different scenario is. So it's really fun because they get some decision making, they get to see how they only have so much money to spend, and they get to consider what are the priorities. So a really fun look while also building those lifelong skills.
We've been going through, or our mom's been going through with the grandkids, the budgeting books for the older grades. And then when Grace found this one this year, it was like, wow, this is so exciting. It's taken the budgeting that we are just loving with the older kids to watch their brains and how this all works and what their priorities are. Take those hard concepts and put it at the pre-K level. So fun. All right, now let's look at geography. The first book that we have included is the Look Inside Our World book. And this is a beautiful book, so age appropriate, which I love because lift the flap books can go on either side. They can just be too much information and too much bore underneath the flap, or they can hit it right like this one does. So your child has a very colorful spread. They'll be able to look at lots of short, couple sentence or one sentence facts on the spread, and then under each flap just a little bit more information. Sometimes changing, like if you have a desert scene, then it changes and says when it's rained, you lift the flap and you can see, oh, it turns green underneath. So very practical, very engaging. Read, probably what I would do is probably read a couple flaps a week, because if you read a spread every month, you're going to get through it in the school year. A spread or two a month, you're going to get through it in the school year. And by reading a couple flaps on the spread each week, it keeps the interest high without racing through the book and finishing it too early. So love it.
Next, we have My World of Animals floor puzzle. So what we love about this one is the high quality and that it's just 36 pieces. So we really don't want to overwhelm the student with a whole lot of pieces, but we do want to give them a grasp of their place in the world and how large the world is, and start building that awareness. And this is a really fun way to do it, especially with all the animals overlaid. It kind of gives them a step up for how to build it. It makes it a little easier to put together and draws their interest in.
Yep. So why did we pick this one? Because you've got the geography, the animal recognition, you can work on different vocabulary, all in one puzzle. So love it.
Okay, let's take a look at science. So for science this year, the bones of your science is going to be the Berenstain Bears Big Book of Science and Nature. And I have yet to meet a child who doesn't want to sit and listen as you read these different descriptions of all sorts of different science. So it's going to cover weather, it's going to cover seasons, plants, animals, habitats, and simple machines, all in a really fun, picture-intense format that kids just want to sit down and listen to.
And the rhyming text, that's
Yes,
what also pulls them in. They love
does.
the rhyming text.
So you're building vocabulary while you're also learning these overviews of different science.
So why this book? Because it has the big science ideas in bite-sized and playful doses. Perfect for a pre-K student. Next, we have the Kumon Science Pre-K. Now, what are you looking for in a science book for this age group? It needs to be something that feels like a game or an activity and not a lesson. And you just want to basically introduce your child to the fact that there is science and what this encompasses and different topics within that. You don't want to belabor and overwhelm them with facts or verbiage. And this book does a great job at that. So it'll introduce them to a number of different topics like life science, earth science, space, physical science, and it's going to include it through stickers, mazes, drawing prompts. You're not going to need any test kits. You're not going to need any of that. Just very simple, very easy, but again, broadening the horizon on your child's understanding of the world around them.
And giving them vocabulary for future.
Yeah.
The next science book is also a health resource. It's the first sticker book, Your Body, and this is another really fun one for this age where they just really cannot get enough of sticker books. It's going to have over 150 stickers that are going to cover body parts, senses, movement, and health, but all in an age-appropriate way. So matching the stickers to the right spots on each page, early anatomy, but again, all appropriate and comfortable and helpful for them as they're learning about their bodies and how it works.
And to round that out, we have How Does My Body Work? A Lift the Flap book. So we went through a number of different Lift the Flap body books to find what would work best for your pre-K child. And I really feel like this one, again, hits the mark. It covers more complex topics like movement, eatings, organs, and everyday body functions, does it in an appropriate manner. But again, it hit the balance between not being too complex, but not also being toddler level. So I appreciate that. It's going to stretch your child, but it's not going to overwhelm them. So you're going to probably read a couple flaps a week. Again, that keeps the interest high. For our kids, when we've read these Lift the Flap books, if you do a couple flaps, that's enough that they really want to keep going, but it doesn't overwhelm them with the information. Nope, we got to save that for next time and bring it back out. So it keeps the fun there.
Okay, and lastly in science, we have the 1,000 Words Nature. So this is a beautiful picture book with 1,000 nature vocabulary words across 29 different spreads. Real world photos mixed in with beautiful illustrations covering all sorts of topics: animals, habitats, weather, seasons, and life cycles, with questions throughout, so it keeps you engaged with the student and helps them remember these different facts and the different vocabulary. Why did we choose this one? Well, really, it is such a massive vocabulary builder, but it's all disguised as a beautiful picture book. So kids are going to want to learn it, and it's such a fun topic to be delving into.
And it helps them learn the words for what they're already curious about. So their kids are curious by nature, and so now you're able to give them the words for what they are thinking about already. All right, now let's move to STEM. So first off in STEM, we have the Stages block set. Now, it just seems like it's got to be a classic kid experience to grow up having blocks, wooden blocks to play with. But this set takes it to
this is the one to have.
Yes, this is the one. Because it has not only the beautiful blocks, but it has the cards that go with it, so that your child will go from just free play with the blocks to matching the block to the block on the card, to matching the block structure, to building a structure to match the card, and increasing in complexity until they are building this entire
scene.
Scene, this complex scene. So very good for teaching the fine motor skills that is going to be required to be stacking these blocks or lining them up. It's the visual perception to understand this one's behind and this one's in front, color recognition, shape recognition, and more. This is kind of the first step in our STEM curriculum this year. And the next step will be in the ThinkPlay kit.
Okay, so ThinkPlay is a phenomenal program. So this is not only a high quality block set that is compatible with other big blocks, but it's also going to teach your students how to build different models, and it does it in such a colorful but also clear way. So students at this age are new to opening a manual and looking at the manual and putting together a model. So this is a really gentle introduction to this. We recommend that you go through and pull out the bricks for them. So at first they don't have that visual discrimination chore.
Yes.
They're going to start with just assembly. Then as they grow, they're starting to dig through the bin and find the correct pieces, and then they are coming up with their own ideas. So a really great way to be building these engineering skills, the life skill of looking at a manual and putting something together. I mean, this is something that
real world.
It's real world, and that some kids struggle with, but if they can get through and learn how to do it, it's going to be a lifelong gift to them. Next, let's look at emotional intelligence. So to start that off, we have a whole bunch of feelings book, and this is a great way to explore and again, really work on the vocabulary and understanding of 44 different feelings. So this just gives you a 2-page spread for each feeling and gives you that story-based or situation-based experience to be able to reference back with your kids of, do you remember how we talked about what being frustrated was like? Maybe that's what you're feeling now, or those kinds of situations. It gives them a way to name his feelings, so that way you can discuss it and help find a resolution for it. And this is all going to give you that foundation.
Going along with that, we have the How Does Bear Feel cards. Now this has 20 different bear emotion cards and then 100 short story scenarios. So you're going to read the story with your child, read the card to say, here's a short story of what happened, be it a missing toy or a thunderstorm or somebody else got the blue cup. And then they are going to be able to match the right bear feeling the right emotion with the story. So it's open-ended, adaptable, but will give you the opportunity to discuss these different feelings with real story setup. The value of this is it builds the emotional vocabulary and the empathy that you need without lecturing at your child. So let's do the work beforehand so that in the situation they have that foundation to build on and you can reference back to it so that they can learn how to respond appropriately in the situation.
Okay, now let's take a look at art. So the first component is the Stabilo Woody 3-in-1 pencils, and these are just the best pencil for pre-K that we have ever found. It is part crayon, part color pencil, part watercolor. It glides on. It is vibrant, creamy. It works on paper, it works on glass, cardboard, plastic. So it's really a phenomenal pencil, and it's thick, durable. I cannot tell you how many times we have dropped ours and they are still working, and it's a good chunky size. So again, with those little hands as they're building that grip skill, this is going to be a wonderful tool. You're going to come back to it again and again, and you're going to use it on all these workbooks.
Yep, it is perfect for that and for other art projects. So it is open-ended to say if you want to have your child decorate the windows for a holiday, absolutely. Or if your child wants to do watercolor, have them color their picture with these and then use a water on a brush and paint over it, and it turns it into a watercolor. So just gorgeous, very practical pencils.
Next, we have the DIY Animal Friends magnets. So this is also really neat because it has 15 different magnets that they're going to be assembling with felt stickers. So they're a durable, a thick magnet that they can then go hang on the fridge or somewhere else. But what's really great about it is the different visual perception and instruction following that it's going to work with them on. Step-by-step instructions are included. They're going to look at that. They're going to find the white t-shirt and they're going to put it on. And then they're going to look and say, okay, it looks like he needs blue shoes, and go find the blue shoes and put those on. So a very good fine motor skill, a good attention to detail. And kids love doing these kind of art projects and building these skills at this age.
And I love that it can be done a little bit at a time, so you don't have to do this entire scene at a time and try to remember everything is. It's a magnet or two at a time. And I also love that you can then have them hanging up around the house because it's not a creation that now you need to find a big spot for. It's a little magnet, throw it on the fridge, enjoy it, and they can really enjoy seeing their work out there. Draw and learn animals and places. This is a Timberdoodle exclusive that I just love.
I do too.
Because it teaches basic drawing skills at this age level, very appropriate and easy in its approach. So starts really simple as far as maybe coloring in a little circle, builds on there, walks your child through the different skills. So this cat has whiskers on half its face. Can you add 3 lines to add whiskers on the other half of its face? Things like that. What I also like about this book is it works really well for the artist and for the child who is just not into drawing. And we've had parents again and again tell us, my child doesn't enjoy drawing, but this book really helped them turn that around so that they could actually realize they could be successful at drawing, they could learn how to draw, and kind of turn that mindset around of, well, I don't draw, to something that they enjoy.
Next, we have the Garden Bugs paint set, and this is brand new this year, and we are really excited about it because we've tried a number of different just add water paint kits and been very disappointed and very frustrated with weak colors and
ripping paper.
Yeah, wimpy. It's just frustrating. And this is not one of those sets. This is a real life, just add water, thick project boards that they're going to be painting, and it comes with a very high quality paint. So when you put a little bit of water on that paint palette, the thick paint that comes off of that onto your picture is just excellent and very satisfying.
It looks like real paint. I know we've tried the cheaper versions and we've had the kids be like, it's not really working. I'm like, well, just try harder because there's not much else I can do. That's as good as it gets.
Yeah.
And that was not the case with this one.
No, this is a really satisfying set that you're going to enjoy putting in front of your student and they're going to enjoy doing. Next up, we have the Jungle Paradise Jewel Art Poster. So you're going to turn out a very beautiful, sparkly gem poster. But what we love about this is how it's teaching fine motor skills while allowing a lot of creativity. So over 500 colorful gems. You're going to peel off a little bit of plastic at a time. You don't have to have them do the whole thing at once. And then they're just going to pick which gems they want where and build this beautiful masterpiece that they're going to want to hang up because it's so sparkly and fun, all the while developing those difficult fine motor skills.
But I appreciate there is a little bit of structure. It's not just a whole sticky sheet. There are little glue dots that they're adhering these jewels to, so they get to pick what. They get to pick the colors and everything, but there is a little bit of structure so that you don't just have this clump of jewels in one spot and sticky paper throughout the rest.
Right. Okay, next we have collages for little ones. So this is, again, one of those really fun, very high quality, well done sets. So it's going to come with 4 different sturdy cardboard, like a laminated type cardboard that they're going to build their collage onto. And then it comes with these adorable little envelopes full of sequins and googly eyes and pieces that they're going to glue on. So I love that they're learning those gluing skills, but it's in such an organized and tidy fashion that it's not overwhelming for those of us who don't like a mess everywhere. It's a really doable project, but it also lets them dig in and have a really good crafting time.
So for your child that loves crafting, this is right up their alley. What child does not love getting the glue stick out and using it? But even for your child that says crafting is not really my thing, this will help you give them the experience of crafting in a manageable way. It won't be overwhelming for them, but they do need to broaden the horizons, try different modalities of art, and this is one way to allow them to do that while also learning how to follow directions, wordless directions, and create something. All right, now let's talk about some learning tools that we've included. First off is the My First Pencils and the Faber-Castell Pencil Sharpener. So with your child, with all these pre-writing, beginning writing skills, you're going to want a chunky pencil for them to work with. These are perfect. They're They're thicker, they're shorter, so they're not overwhelming for their hand. They're able to grasp it easier, very beginner friendly. And then including the pencil sharpener because it works so well. I've never found a pencil sharpener like this one that works so well on sharpening pencils consistently and smoothly. So it's not like, well, it didn't work today, it worked yesterday, but that's it. Always works. And it can also fit the jumbo size pencils in there, which is a big win.
Next we have Mattr, and new this year is a custom color for Timberdoodle that we are really excited about bringing in. It's the Sand Collection color, and it's going to be the same. If you've tried Mattr before, it's the same texture, and if you've not tried Mattr, you've got to try it because then you'll know why this is the only compound that we recommend in this grade level because it is so clean, it's easy to clean up. So whatever gets sprinkled on the floor, and it will sweep up, it will vacuum up. It's really doable, and it's wonderful to work with. You can mold it. It shapes really, really well. You can roll it, you can press it, and then you can cut it.
It's soft and smooth though, so it doesn't leave that nasty residue on your hands. It's something that I normally will sit next to them while they're playing. And next thing you know, I've got it in my hands because it's just fun to play with, and it's not nasty feeling.
No, it's excellent, and you can pull it apart, and it gets really fluffy, and then you squish it back together, and it's hard.
You could rub it really fast, and it turns into this velvety, smooth surface.
We love it. It's so much fun, but we really like having the natural sand color because that is very conducive to all sorts of different play, whether it's with their construction vehicles that they want to get out and put in it, or whether they're just working on shaping different letters.
Making caves for their little animals to go in, whatever it be.
Whatever it is, it's perfect for all of that. And in our handbook, we're going to give you a whole number of different ideas so that way each week you can be assigning something that is creative and then something that is assigned. So that way you're building
different
those
prompts.
Different skills. Really want to be getting in a lot of the sensory play at this age, and this is the perfect tool to do that.
Yeah. Last, we include the mini Meori. Now, this is just a sturdy little box to be keeping all your pencils, your Stabilo pencils, your pencil sharpener, all of that inside this little sturdy mini Meori box. It's exclusive. We put the Highland cow on it this year and made it an exclusive one for us, which we're really excited about because it's so cute. But I just like its functionality, you know. We keep our preschoolers' pencils in there, stick it in the cupboard. Oh, it's time to do school, pull it out, bring it to the counter. It's just very manageable and makes managing all that really easy. Last off, we include in each kit a Timberdoodle handbook. Now, what this basically will get you is a short summary, an idea of why we included it, or how we expect you to schedule each product that's included. We also include access to your online scheduler. Now, you've gotten through this long video about everything that's included, and it can be a little overwhelming. It was a lot. And you begin to think, how in the world can I get through all of that? The scheduler is going to make it really easy for you to be able to see at a glance, oh, that's what I do. So I'm not doing all those art projects every day, every week. No, there's 4 in this one, and there's 5 in that one, or whatever it is. I'm going to do one of these this month and one of these this month, and it will schedule it for you. So you can know, this is the week that we get out the Collages set, and next month is the month that we get to work on the jewels. Helps you organize all of that. At this age, you really want to keep school fun and interesting and a large variety. And so our curriculum kit has allowed you to do that by including all these different approaches to learning letters or to writing or to reading, whatever it is, math. We've included a bunch of different approaches, but it could be overwhelming without this scheduler to say, no big deal, we're going to do one Wikki stick this week, and we're going to do, of that same letter, we're going to do one GeoStix, and we are going to work on the All About Reading books, pages 1 through 4, or whatever. So it's really helped you to say, not a big deal, here's how we attack it. But by the end of the school year, your child will have been able to experience all these different approaches to learning, had a wide variety in their learning, but all manageable.
Yes.
So highly recommend using the scheduler to make sure you don't forget something, you stay on task, you're not overwhelmed by it. Again, for working with the kids here, it has been very helpful for us, and especially because we're a bunch of sisters that are taking shifts working for Timberdoodle and caring for the kids and the foster children. And so to be able to have this printout to say, oh, looks like we've already covered these things this week, but we still have not covered these. Oh, I can jump in and cover those. It's just made it all very reasonable. So whether it's you and your spouse, or whether you've got the grandparents involved, whatever, you can customize and say, print me this list, print them that list. We can work on this together. A great way to attack it. Also included is the reading challenge. So you want to make sure that you're reading with your child a wide variety of literature.
Yeah.
And the reading challenge will allow you to do that. It won't just hit the one Curious George genre that they like. You'll be able to hit a number of different genres so that your child's getting experience with a wide variety of the world and getting to read about that.
Yeah. And then as always, our kits are fully customizable. So if you look at this and you say, well, actually, I've got an advanced reader, I think we're beyond that. Well, you can hop online and customize that, add in the next level of reading, or swap in the previous level of math, however you need to customize it. And if you're not sure, we've got placement tests online that will help you sort through all of that for the early learner. And of course, we are always available via chat, email, phone call. We'd love to help you customize it to figure out what would be best for your student.
Yep, so thanks for watching. We appreciate you being with us this year.